How you doing, buddy?
Hey Marc, nice to be on the call.
Yeah, we had a little bit of technical difficulties at first, but
It's always
we're
tricky.
here on Zoom, the best place to be. So Daniel, I'm really excited to feature you this week for my next blog post. I'm really excited to learn more about your business, Cato marketing. So please, I just want to know how long you've been running Google Ads for. Please just tell me a little bit and enlighten us.
Yeah, great question. So I run Cato Marketing, a digital marketing agency for law firms, e-commerce stores, and everybody else who needs online help. We got some limo clients, we got manufacturing clients. We've worked with all sorts of people. I've been involved in Google Ads, SEO, that kind of thing for 10 years almost. 10 years. I was in SEO before I was in Google Ads. Been running the agency 5 years full time, and our core offering is SEO and Google Ads. So I've got 10 years, maybe even more than 10 years. Yeah, no, more than 10 years. It started in 2008. So that's 13 years, I think. So a long time in the industry. I've seen it change a lot. I started in the days when everything was super easy. There wasn't much competition. Now everybody's in the game. It's a different beast. So yeah, I've seen quite a bit happen in this space over the years.
That's amazing, Daniel. So I really appreciate learning more. So tell me a little bit more about like these campaigns that you run on Google. Like, could you tell me, share with me and anyone listening, what's the best campaign you've ran in those 10 years?
Yeah, so some of our most exciting campaigns have been for law firms, that is lawyers in the USA, in the UK, in Ireland, and we've ran some really fun campaigns over the years. Ones that stand out have been class actions. We've helped get people to sign up for class action lawsuits. Some that come to mind have been the Volkswagen emissions scandal. Also helped sign up people to a kombucha class action with a law firm in Virginia. Um, and then as well as that, we do a lot of local advertising. So if a law firm is operating in a city, be it in the USA or the UK, and they want to drum up new leads, be that business leads or personal legal issues, family legal issues. We've even done a lot of criminal law, federal law, etc. So it's really fun to run these campaigns for those law firms. And often the times the lawyer will have just opened, there'll be the principal attorney, maybe a paralegal who's also running as the receptionist at the same time. The phone rings maybe once every 2 days, if that. And after a week or a little bit longer of us, taking over the SEO, taking over the Google Maps, Google My Business, getting those Google Ads up and running, all of a sudden the phone's ringing off the hook. If we can get several calls coming in a day, when previously it was like nothing or maybe one, that feels like a big success to us. And if we can do that affordably, where the cost per lead comes in at something like, $10, $20, rather than, the $100, $150 that these law firms would have to pay if they were just buying the leads. Because there are agencies who sell leads directly to lawyers. So, if we can get them more quantity of leads at a cost that's very, very affordable, it's a big win. And so it's definitely a lot of fun when we have successes like those.
That's amazing, Daniel. I really appreciate always learning more about what you do in Google. So here's a third question I have for you. So as someone who is not a Google expert, I'm more of a beginner starting in Google. I recently took on a client who wants basic Google. They want to just exist. I know that Google is very important and their physical store. It's a store in Brooklyn. It's a pharmaceutical store, and they also sell health and wellness, so vitamins, etc. So I think it may be important for them to maybe get on Waze or like there's different places that would maybe be very beneficial. What's some advice you can give someone like me helping out a client for the first time being asked to do basic Google for them?
Yeah, so Google really rewards people who do just the basics right. Oftentimes, especially if the niche isn't too competitive, the basics are all you need to do, because all you have to do is be better than the local competition, and you'll show at the top. So if the local competition are doing a very, very good job, you have to do a good job. But if they're not doing so well, you don't have to do so well. You just have to do a tiny bit better than they are. So some of the basics I would do if I was opening a store and I wanted to be visible on Google, first of all, is Google My Business. That's what the Google Maps program is called. Get set up on there. Upload as many images as possible, inside, outside, the team, the customers, the products. Fill out every field, give them your opening hours. If you're open on Christmas Day, if you're closed on Halloween, tell Google everything that they ask for. Do that, and do that alone, and you'll probably show pretty highly on the Google Maps results. Obviously, reviews from customers are extremely important. Google treats that as a high sign of credibility, and so it really favors you in the rankings if you have real reviews. Fake ones and reviewing yourself, Google will detect it, not worth it. Get honest reviews. Also, you want to be thinking about your SEO. So give the website, make it mobile friendly so it loads on mobile devices. That's something very, very important to Google. Submit it to relevant directories. So for example, if you're opening an e-commerce website, find directories of e-commerce businesses. So you said this is almost like a pharmaceutical company. So there's directories for pharmacies in local areas, directories for people selling those certain kind of products. Try and submit it to them. Oftentimes it's free. Maybe try and get some kind of media appearance to get high value links from them. If a local newspaper will write a short article, or even a paid submission to a local newspaper is well worth doing. Social media, Google treats these as signals that you're a real business. So even if you're not going to use them very often, get a Facebook page, get a Twitter, get an Instagram, just do a couple of posts. Ideally you would do more, but if you can just do a few, that's fine. And just all these signals Google treats to realize that you're running a credible business. And you'll be competing against people who've been open for 50 years but haven't done any of this at all. And so just by doing the basics, you can do a little bit better than they are, and rank a bit better. So yeah, I would say just get the basics right. That's all you need to do a lot of the time.
Amazing, Daniel. So I just took in a lot because I'm experienced like 12 years doing social media marketing and running ads. So hearing stuff like, oh, having a Facebook page is important, hearing that from a Google expert, I say to myself, like, yo, this is what I want this guy, like on my third call, I could whip in and say, hey, let me get Daniel Gillen on the line. He's a Google Ads, where he's going to tell you why social media is so important. And what's amazing is this client, because he wants to just exist. So he's at that whole concept that you're saying. He wants to have his Facebook page. He wants to have a LinkedIn. He already has an Instagram, so he already jumped on that end. So he's doing everything in his power to try and make sure that he's seen. I even gave him advice, like in store when people come in, maybe you could have something that you're giving away. He discussed different products that he had. So he said, oh, one of the more expensive products maybe put in front, and you could get people to leave their email addresses or their business cards in order for a chance to enter that, or a gift card. And he just liked the idea. I've also seen that there's SEO features. You talk about e-commerce. This is an e-commerce website I'm building for him. So every time I have an option that says, buy the image, write some text, improve the SEO. So right now, if you search his business and you found it, I think some of my stuff would already start working, because it's straight from Shopify to Google. And it gives me the option to always improve his SEO. Besides for the blog posts have a ton of SEO in there. There's hashtags in there. There's tags. There's anything you can come up with, you can throw in there and improve the SEO so people can find it on Google. So I'm really happy that you said that. Here's an interesting question. I would hate for someone to ask me this, because it'd be very difficult to come to it. It'd be a whole story. Why did you become a Google Ads expert of all the other things?
Yeah, really, really good question. There's a million answers. Why do something, not do something else? But I'd say one of the core reasons is I find it really fun to make an impact. So I don't always enjoy like playing a support role or something. You know, there's a lot of roles and things you can do. They're extremely important behind the scenes. And without it, things wouldn't succeed, but have no kind of visibility and people aren't aware of. And I just find it fun being able to measure the effect a bit more directly. For example, so if there's a website that's running a store and its revenue is like, you know, under 10K a month, like this happened to us last year. We had a client, they were doing just under $10,000 a month in revenue. We come to them, we set up Google ads, we got Google shopping ads, Google search ads, Google video ads, set them all up. We agree to spend. And then within 6 months, they're doing 100,000 a month. And they can directly see that extra revenue, that 10 times in growth came from Google ads. That gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling. And I know I had that direct impact. Whereas, you know, if I was doing something else like designing the website or something, although critically important and not devaluing the work those people do, it's extremely important. It's just a little bit less harder to measure the impact. So, you know, I love it when the team, we're working on this project, we're spending the client's ad spend, and we can see in Google Analytics, all that extra revenue there, we drove that. That was our ads. And so maybe it's a bit egotistical, but it's just really fun to have impact and be able to measure it. And the client knows that, okay, yeah, these guys, when they say they deliver results, they mean it because we can actually see it. So I think that's why I picked that rather than something kind of less measurable.
Amazing. Very interesting. You've been doing this a very long time, Daniel. It's really important to hear what you're saying, and I really hope that people look back to when you're talking about Google and you're talking about SEO and the basics, how important it is. Even the business owners themselves who hire people like us, they can get that done themselves, the basics. And then when they really need the help to run their ads because they're making money off of the basics, that's when they need to speak to us. Because this is stuff they can do on their own. It's not too complicated. So here's something that we kind of discussed earlier, that you need to write about, like what you thought about me, Marc Jeret, what you think about me and my character, and your experience with me. And I want to add to that as well. So while you answer, I also want to see if you could try and search for me on Google, if there's anything that pops up when you type in my company, and maybe you can tell me what I've done SEO wise on my social media to have the type of rankings you'll find.
Yeah. So, I mean, firstly, what comes to my mind, first of all, Marc, when it comes to you is just the fact that, you know, Marc has these really out of the box ideas sometimes that are really exciting, and get really good results. And just, I think 9 times out of 10 other people wouldn't think of them. So, for example, Marc's got this strategy that involves using Facebook groups to generate leads on Facebook. I've spoken to a ton of Facebook advertisers, and I've never heard that idea before. It's original, it's effective, and it doesn't cost much. Like, you can create a group for free. That's what I love about the idea. You're actually using the tools in Facebook that don't cost any money to potentially outperform Facebook's ad platform, which costs a fortune sometimes. So it's those original ideas that are fun, that are out of the box, that really makes me a fan of Marc Jeret's work. And then in terms of Marc's rankings, yeah, I searched Marc Jeret straight away. Top result is Marc on Twitter. Then we got Marc on Instagram. Then we got Marc on LinkedIn. Then we've got Marc's new headshot photos, including one of Marc in a courthouse, hopefully not in trouble. So
could you pull any of that on screen?
Yeah, do you want me to share screen?
only if it looks good.
Yeah, I think it looks good. Let me just kind of share the right screen. Yeah, here we go. I'm sharing my screen here. So yeah,
the digital media adds 10 pounds.
So yeah, we got Marc's Twitter, we got Marc's
look at that handsome guy.
Marc's LinkedIn. Here's Marc in court on trial for something. Hopefully he's not in too much trouble. So yeah, extremely visible. That's some good personal SEO there. I wish.
So what would you, well, if from 1 to 10, like what would you rank me as someone who has not spent any? Maybe I spent $20 or $40 on Google ads when I had like a credit or something. Maybe 70. I don't know.
Personal SEO is very good. You know, at the end of the day, if people search your name ideally you want you to show up above. Like, I don't know about you, but you search my name, Daniel Gillen, there's like 100 people out there all with the same name. Some of them criminals. So, you don't want those guys showing up when people Google your name. So the fact that people Google your name and you show up, all three first results, that's good. You couldn't have it any better than that, I think, personally.
Amazing. I'm happy to hear that. So maybe soon I'll be able to afford these Google ads and build up my business. Maybe when people search for, Facebook ads marketing or, Instagram marketing for any of these social media services, even email marketing or Shopify websites, my name pops up, Marc Jeret.
Yeah.
If my personal SEO is so good, maybe it's even better than my company, Social Media Guru 365, because that has good SEO too.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've really worked on the two. I've worked on the personal, I've worked on the business. And every time you post, I consider a hashtag to be like a digital database. So when I click on the hashtag on any platform, you'll find my stuff. So yeah, I find that to be very important. So I have one last question, and maybe if you have anything you want to share, maybe list your company's website, etc. We'll go and do that. Can you share an experience in Google that happened via digital media? What I mean by that, as in maybe you got a client online that hired you for Google, or there's something that you saw that Google released on social media. Anything that you can share that would really like tickle the audience.
Well, I think my first ever Google project would match that description quite well. That's how I got into all this. Is when I was a student in university, 2008. Obviously, we did all the bar crawls, went to all the clubs, the pubs, everywhere. And I thought it would really be fun to like start a website. And every time I went to a different club or a different pub, I would write a review of the place, mention the people I met, share photographs, talk about the offers they had and stuff, and just do that. And to be honest, I didn't even put a huge amount of effort into it. And I started getting a ton of traffic. Like everybody was reading my blog before they went out. They would like all the students would read it and learn, who was playing where and what DJs were on. Because there wasn't much social media then in 2008. And I was getting loads of traffic. I was ranking first on Google for best pubs near me and stuff like that. And I really enjoyed it when I went out one day and people started recognizing me because I had a picture of myself in the side of the blog, and people were going, "Oh, you're Daniel Gillen. You write that website about all the clubs and bars and stuff." I was like, "I'm famous," but I wasn't that famous. It was just a little website, but it made me smile inside knowing that people were actually reading it and paying enough attention to actually recognize me. It overinflated my ego, I think, for a little while.
Well, Daniel, that's really fantastic. I consider you to be a pretty modest guy for the amount of traffic you brought on Google to just sending people everywhere, and that's what you do. You're the one who helps the business, gets them seen. So I like to make a joke that as a marketer, a good marketer, I rarely have time to market myself. When I find time, I market myself. So that's pretty much what I can leave the audience with. On my end, I really enjoyed asking you these questions, learning more. I'm gonna have to watch this video a few times to hear more about the certain things you said about Google, because we are in the early stages of this client's website. But I really hope that I can improve his SEO and get his Google rankings up there. So I'm really appreciative. Anything else you want to share with us? Daniel, like your website, any ways to find you on social media?
Just type in Cato Marketing into Google and you'll find us, whether you're a lawyer, e-commerce store owner, or anybody else who needs help. Search for Cato Marketing. Our website is catomarketing.co.uk. Cato spelled C-A-T-O, marketing.co.uk. Send us a message, and if we can help you, we'll help. We're some of the best in the world. Awesome team, friendly people, always happy to help. So yeah, send us a message.
Well, Daniel, thanks again so much.
Thank you.
Hope to get this video up soon. Please follow at Social Media Guru 365, SOCIAL Media, MEDIA, Guru, GURU 365.com. You can also visit my new website, www.smg365.ca. Thank you so much for listening, and follow us.